elevator with a kangaroo. So my whole life is consumed pretty much by animals, but not just exotic animals, regular pets as well. And so I always get all these crazy questions from my friends about animals. They'll call me up and say, there's this bird in my backyard and it looks like this, what is it? And sometimes I know the answer, sometimes I don't. But a couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine called me and said, my 7-year-old son wants to get a pet, and he wants to get a reptile, but I told him he had to talk to you first. And Jackson and I spoke about what it took to take care of reptiles, and at the end of the conversation, Jackson was ready to get a fish. He wasn't ready to get a reptile. And that's for a number of reasons. It takes a lot to care for animals, not just dogs and cats, but guinea pigs and hamsters and mice and snakes. You name it, Petco really has a wonderful selection of pets out there, but you really need to know what it takes. So raise your hands again if you have something other than a dog or a cat at your house. Okay, what do you have?
A ferret and a hedgehog.
Oh, a ferret. No, she's holding our ferret. A ferret and a hedgehog. Who else has something other than, what do you have?
Turtle.
A turtle, okay, yes? Fish. You have a fish, I love it. So there's all kinds of animals that make really great pets that some people may think they make a good pet and some families might not. You really have to consider what is right for your family. So if you're a family that's never at home, should you bring a ferret or a guinea pig or a mammal to into your home? If you're never at home, you're very busy, the kids are always away, you're always on vacation, you probably want to get a fish or a turtle or a snake. You really need to consider a whole number of things before bringing an animal like that into your home. So I want to talk about a couple of different animals. We've got the Petco team here. You can see that Derek's holding a snake. So we'll talk about the... Is he going to talk?
He's a little shy right now.
He has stage fright. This is a red-tailed boa. Raise your hand if you're afraid of snakes. My husband's hand should be going up. Oh, but you're afraid of snakes? Why are you afraid of snakes? Because they're poisonous. Okay. Would you be holding that snake if it was poisonous?
Absolutely not.
Certain snakes are venomous. They do have venom, but most pet snakes, well, all pet snakes, they don't have any venom. They don't have fangs. They have little bitty teeth in their mouths. They're kind of like backwards pointing teeth. So this snake here, I can guarantee you if it had fangs and venom, Derek would not be crazy enough to be holding it right up next to his body.
I'm crazy.
He's crazy. And Petco wouldn't be selling it as a pet. So there are certain animals that you can get as pets and certain animals that you don't want to get as pets. And venomous snakes is one of those animals you would never want to consider for a pet. But Derek, tell us about why snakes might make a good pet for a certain kind of family.
A snake would make a great pet for a family that maybe doesn't want to have a lot of maintenance. They're very low maintenance. Some things about them that are kind of scary is they get very big, so you have to be prepared to get something this guy will get to be about 8 feet long. You can't buy a bag of snake food. He eats live animals. We feed frozen at Petco, but when he gets to be 8 feet long, he'll eat some pretty large things. There's a lot of things good about them. You can see how kind of friendly this guy is. I always tell people that snakes, they learn to tolerate handling. I always tell people that if they could talk, they would say, don't ever pick me up. But what they learn to do is they learn to tolerate handling. And one of the things you always got to remember about snakes is you always got to look at their body behavior. You can tell very quickly when it's not a good time to pick up a snake. This guy right here is totally fine. You can kind of see how he's checking things out. He's not really scared. But if his body was like really stiff, if his like area right up here was kind of cocked back, there's like an S position that they get in, then Derek wouldn't be handling the snake right now. So the biggest thing when you have one, they're very fun pets to have. You just always have to be cautious. You always have to respect them and take care of them. And the one thing that goes with all reptiles is invest all your time and all your money in the habitat that they live in, and as long as you do that properly, the animals will be 100% fine. You gotta make sure you get the right type of lighting, you wanna get the right type of heat, the right size, and if you do all those things the right way, then you're never gonna have any health problems or anything like that.
Yeah, that's great. And one thing to think about, and he just kind of glanced over it, but this snake will get 8 feet long. Okay, so when you get a snake or your son or your daughter says, Mom, I want a snake, or Dad, I really want to get a snake, you want to talk to them about what it takes to care for that snake. You have to feed the snake mice. So raise your hand here if you would be okay with that. Okay, a few people, but not everybody would be okay with that. It's the way of the animal kingdom. It's a very natural process, but not every animal is going to be okay with that. Now, who here wants to touch this snake or hold the snake? Okay, come on up. What's your name? Adrian? Adrian, come on up,
All
Adrian.
right. You want to touch him or you want to hold him?
Adrian, will you tell us what he feels like?
Very good.
So the snakes actually aren't slimy. Most people would say, oh, it's slimy, I'm afraid of it, I don't want to touch it. Reptiles actually have no way to sweat. They have no capacity to produce any kind of slime whatsoever. Reptiles are actually very, very dry animals, and they can make a really good pet at your home and with your family if you know what you're getting into. All right, we're going to move on to the next animal. It's a little bit more cuddly.